Guys, welcome back to the with Esenam. If today happens to be the first time you're watching me, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends. Leave a comment in the comment section. So if you're a returning viewer, I really do appreciate you, and please don't stop commenting, liking and sharing my videos, and please encourage your friends and colleagues as well to do the same. Thank you so much. So I've been taking you guys down memory lane with what's went on in Saudi Arabia, and then I actually told you guys to leave some questions because I've been receiving a lot of questions in my DMs pertaining to what I was narrating, and so today I'm just gonna answer your questions. Okay, so the first question I have here is, what year did you go there? What year did you go there? So I left Ghana late 2014, early 2015. Yeah, one of them. So late 2014. Yeah, that was when I actually went there. All right. The second question is, how are you able to keep your spiritual self? All right, so for those who went to senior high school with me, knew very well that I don't joke with my spiritual stuffs. You know, when it comes to God, I'm always on key, and then I try as much as possible to do what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, so how did I keep my spiritual self? So it was in Kuwait and in Saudi that I actually became extremely close to God, you know, because you are there alone, nobody knows you. Like, if you die today and they decide to dispose your body in the trash, okay, nobody is going to see you or ever find out. So it was me, myself, and my God, and that was how come I actually had to depend on him totally. Please forgive the noise at the background. I'm at work. Please. All right, let's go to the next question. So the next question is, did you lose your spirituality? Did I lose it? At a point, yes. You know, when you start questioning God and you start playing the blame game and you're like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why am I here? Has God abandoned me? And all of that. To an extent, you start losing it. But then making a conscious effort to, like, always know that, yes, without God, it is nothing. Like, you cannot survive. You still remember and go back to your roots. You go back to, knowing that, yes, He's the sole protector at the moment, and there's nothing you can do. And so, to an extent, yeah. But when I realized that, I come back to my senses. Okay, so the next question is, how did you manage to put yourself together when you returned, dealing with emotional trauma, your conscience, etc.? Now, conscience, I don't really know, because I didn't kill nobody, I didn't do nothing like that would affect my conscience like that. But with emotional trauma and stuff like that, I'm still dealing with it. It's a lifelong something. You can't change the past. You can only try and then move away from it. One of my fathers in the Lord said, blame no one. The moment you start talking about the past, it's like you're still dwelling there. Okay, so let me just state this emphatically. I'm not talking about all of these because I'm still drowning on that, okay? I have moved past it a long time ago. So I'm just saying all of these or telling you about the past to advise somebody else who is about making that mistake or is already in that, okay? So it's not because I'm dwelling on that. Yeah, so I came back. I didn't really, meet my expectations and all of that. Well, life continues. It's not easy to, gather your pieces, but then you know that you're not living for you alone. I have a lot of siblings who are looking up to me. I have myself to encourage. Because I need to let people know that, yes, I mean, you've wasted about 3-4 years. It is not over. You can still achieve whatever you set your mind and eyes on to achieve. It is not over. So you just gather the pieces. That was what I did. And then looked at what else I could do to get to my life on its feet. Basically, that was it. Okay, so the next question is, had there been an instance where they laid their hands on you? Not laid hands on me, like beat me. Nah, I've never personally experienced that before. But there were circumstances and situations whereby, for instance, you did something or you supposedly did something and you were confronted and you were like, I didn't do this or something. Then the person will be like, Leila, you know, like tapping you to know that she's furious, something like that. And then in Saudi too, I remember there was a time my madam was so furious, she had to pull my ear. She was like, yeah, something. Or she would just hit you one at your back and be like, after binti, then not the next half hobby, But to beat me up, no. Frankly, I've heard other people mention that, and I wouldn't doubt that, because when I was in Saudi, there was this Indian cook who lived not next door, but apparently the Indian cook's madam is actually like a relative of my madam. So sometimes they come around and you see bruises all over her. So if somebody complains that he or she's been beaten, then it's not far from the truth. But personally, I have not experienced it. Then the last question, did they abuse you sexually? This question, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. No, they didn't abuse me sexually. It doesn't mean there were not, attempts were not made, okay? I wasn't abused sexually, but it also doesn't mean attempts were not made. Severally. When I was in Kuwait, that didn't happen, not once. But when I was in Saudi, my boss had 4 male children. Okay, 4 male children. They were all grown-ups. I think the least amongst them at the time was like 18, 19, thereabouts. So you could see that they were a bit matured and all of that. And these were the ones making the approach. I mean, they want to force themselves on you, like sometimes you're working and then when they realize nobody's around, they come to, try to touch you and all of that. So I also feel like to an extent, not entirely, it's based or depends on you, the individual, as in, supposing the person gives you money, okay, take this and then, let me sleep with you, I will give you money and all of that, and you agree. The fact that you've been able to do that for money, one, the second time, probably he will not give you money, or he would create the impression that he wants to pay you for that, and then at the end of the day, if he doesn't give you the money, there's nothing you can do about it. There were instances like that. So to an extent, I also feel like it's actually dependent on the individual, as in how you carry yourselves out and how you appear to be and all of that. Personally, when I was in Saudi, I was very intolerant. As at that time, I had actually understood the Arabic to an extent. So when you talk your mind, I'll talk my mind, Sam. That was it. But I'll just know how to, go about it. Because, for instance, there was a time when my boss was not around. The only person around at the time was her eldest daughter and her 2 sons, and they were upstairs. And their room was opposite, where their room was, situated. It was nowhere near where the other son's room was. And then he called me. I was actually cooking downstairs, almost done. And he called me to come clean his room. Apparently, I would have done that in the evening, because most times they sleep throughout, then they get into the evening, then they get up. So like I was planning on actually doing that later in the day. And then he called me to come clean his room. And I started only for him to come around and start touching me and stuff like that. I didn't talk, I didn't complain. I only took the machine, left it out, went downstairs. Because I had finished cooking, I went inside my room and locked the door. He came downstairs. Hey, I asked you to, Debbie, I asked you to come and clean my room, and you left the mahama, like what we used to clean, outside, and you are now in your room and you've locked it. He started insulting me. When he insults me, then I also say something to pain him the more. You know, because at the end of the day, my room was locked. That was in Saudi. In Kuwait, I mentioned that my room was not locked. Please forgive the noise. Yeah, so to an extent, it's all up to you, the individual, and how you carry yourself out and how you're able to approach matters. Okay. Yeah, so basically that's it. Let's go to the lessons. So quickly, I'm going to touch on the general lessons I derived from this whole Kuwait, Saudi experience. The first thing is, don't make hasty decisions. Don't make hasty decisions. The reason being that you may end up missing God's divine direction for your life. And if you miss God's timing, you might end up being frustrated, okay? So you want to travel, or you've been told to travel. Is that God's original plan for you? Is that what God has planned for your life? Is that what He's saying for your life? Consider all of that so you don't miss God's timing. Trust me, sometimes I still wonder how it's going to be like if I had not missed about 3 to 4 years of my life just because I decided to travel. Okay, if it's God's vision you are following, I'm sure He's going to make the provision and that you wouldn't end up frustrated whichever way. Okay, so don't make hasty decisions, and make sure if you decide finally, if you make the final decision, it is actually inspired by God. Now, the second thing I would like you to know, okay, is that face the future regardless. I mean, you've been through a lot of things, and as much as people succeeded in those areas, does not mean you're also going to succeed in that area. Please, whichever place you are, wherever you find yourself, whichever area it is, if you know, okay, I missed it, go back and start again. I mean, it is not too late. Stop playing the blame game. The outcome of your life may not be what you expected it to be, probably because certain people contributed to its failure. But at the end of the day, the failure has happened and there's nothing you can do about it, regardless. Stop playing the blame game. Go back and start all over again. Better to move on than to just be brooding about the past and what you could have done better and all of that. Yes, it has happened and has happened already. So pick up the pieces and move on. The third and final thing I've actually learned from this whole experience is everybody's story is different. See, your story is different from my story. Your destiny is different from my destiny. That somebody went and died does not mean I would go and die. That somebody went and came back mentally deranged does not mean I would also go there and come back mentally deranged, okay? Everybody's story is different. So don't compare your life to somebody else. Try to be in your lane as much as possible and do the best that you can. Always trust in God. So that's just it for today. Until my next video. Charlie, thank you so much for making time to watch me every other time. Thank you for the conscious effort you make in subscribing and telling your friends about me and encouraging them to subscribe. Thank you so much for waiting throughout this video to hear me talk. And thank you so much for liking and at least watching me. I appreciate so much. And until my next video, please don't forget to do you, and do you. Bye-bye.